Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dude's Brunch, your late night morning talk show where four people talk about four things they found on the internet. I'm your host, Taylor Olmstead, and with me, as always, to talk about what he ate for brunch and what he was looking at online this week, it's Tyler Reed. Tyler, how are you, buddy? What'd you have for brunch?
I'm doing just fine. Had Gomez Salsa brunch today, which was a turtle, which is a tortilla that's gets stuffed into it, and it has like cheese like grilled on top of it, and so it had like geta and eggs and all sorts of shit, and it came with syrup. It was pretty good.
I don't know how I feel about that. That sounds like a weird combination of things. Anyway, Sean Evans, how are you, buddy? What did you have for brunch today?
I had a peanut butter sandwich with strawberry preserves on it.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
No black coffee?
Not today.
Wow, hardcore.
Why no black coffee?
I didn't have it. I wasn't ready, and I had to go to work, so...
Oh, you just shoved it in your face and ran. I gotcha.
Pretty much.
Fair enough. Our guest this week, Lukas Chaffin. Welcome to the show,
Well,
Luke. What did you have for brunch this week?
I had filet mignon and potatoes, actually. Which was...
Say what?
Everyone had steak like last night, but I was working from like 9 in the morning till like 10 at night, just doing a gig, so I missed the food, but the food was there when I got home, so I got to eat the shit out of it today, and it was great.
Well, for brunch this morning...
Nothing. Well, you've already shown us all up, so...
I'm sorry. Look, I literally forgot that, you know, at Dude's Brunch, you talk about what you had for brunch, and so it just worked out in my favor to look better than all of you.
Okay, so what's a typical brunch then?
Typical brunch it can range from like nachos to cereal. It's never usually anything special.
I mean, you're right on board with Sean there, whose typical brunch is like cookies.
Could one argue that nachos is just another form of cereal?
Oh, Sean, I'm so
It depends
angry
on the
right
ratio.
now. Like cheese to nacho,
Uh-huh.
but like salsa. What is the salsa of cereal?
You put sauce on your nachos? I'm thinking about the like nacho or the chips and cheese nachos.
Oh, well, that's what I'm
you
saying.
bake in your microwave.
And then you pour salsa on top of them.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a dairy product and another form of like wheat product or like
Right,
grain
that's
product
what-
together.
That's what was messing me up. And I was just like, he's right. They're the same shit. And so ultimately, what is the salsa of cereal, though? Sugar?
Yeah, I think it's probably like sugar or brown sugar or like fruit that you put into cereal. Because, you know, sometimes like you have a plain cereal like Cheerios and you put some fruit in that shit. Like, I think that counts.
Oh, yogurt.
Fruit.
Yogurt.
Touche.
But that's like more dairy.
Yeah, yogurt is like the sour cream of breakfast.
All right. I tried.
It's a question for later, I'm sure, because I'm gonna ask like 50 people what is the salsa of cereal, and they're gonna get very angry, and we're gonna have a discussion about how nachos and cereal are the same thing, and the fruit, and it's gonna be an ongoing issue because of this. So well done.
I approve. Well, I actually did have salsa for brunch this morning. I had some salsa with my scrambled eggs and like peppers and onions and stuff. You know, typical boring brunch food. But I had like a really big brunch today because I skipped lunch to go work an event for work. And so, yeah, just normal big brunch.
Nice.
All right. Well, it's time to dive into our 4 topics for this week, but as always, you can play along at home at dudesbrunch.wordpress.com/bingo. First person to tweet in a winning bingo board wins a prize from one of us.
Woo!
So this week I want to talk about hustles because we talk a lot on this show about like making your own brand and pitching this idea, blah 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 dee, blah 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 blue. You know how it is for the familiar listeners. So I finally wanted to get at it and talk about what everyone's hustle is. Not just what a good idea for a hustle is, but what your actual hustle is. So just to define the term informally, a hustle is to sell something aggressively. And using a sentence, he hustled his company's oil around the country. So my first question is, do you have a hustle? If so, what? If not, why aren't you hustling?
When thinking about the hustle and like needing to sell anything, I've never been really like a salesperson, except when it comes to myself. So like how you have to sort of sell yourself to companies and schools and other things. And ultimately the hustle is, selling yourself, I guess. And that's how I looked at that. Like I gotta look impressive. I gotta just be the best in my field. I gotta be so that then I'll get hired, or then I'll get put onto more jobs, or I'll get this contact. So yeah, stuff like that when I think of personal hustle.
So being in a full-time position, I don't have to hustle myself and like my personal brand as much anymore. And so a lot of that energy has turned towards the podcast. I would say that this show is kind of my hustle at the moment. There's a lot of day-to-day administrative work that needs to get done to actually get these shows off the ground. So I think I spend the most time outside of my regular job hustling for this show.
I mean, obviously I am, because I'm currently a freelance designer, so
Your art is your hustle.
right. But it's kind of like there's a lot of like self-improvement you kind of have to go through, and there's a lot of like logistical stuff, because like I just now realized I need to upload like basically like 5 or 6 different like images and stuff, and like I have like other jobs and I have like other things I'm trying to do. So it's like it's really my side hustle, really. The art is really my side hustle at the moment. Obviously I think my job at the Rook, I'm trying to really hustle. I'm trying to really be the best kind of like game teacher I can be, learn as much as I can. Because it's a local company and I really want to see it succeed and I really want to see it grow. I want to try to maybe see if I can find like a niche within that company to maybe help them, help myself as well, and kind of like see them succeed and help me succeed with it. So I would say currently that's probably my hustle, but I think the design is always kind of like on like the sideline.
All right.
That is, unless I randomly get a design job out of nowhere, in which that will then be my main hustle and I'll completely shift gears, but
My hustle is definitely myself. Just getting that out there, marketing myself, kind of doing the Sean thing. So
what is Sean hustling about the most right now?
Getting a job on the Hill.
That is a big one.
So networking and reaching out to people and creating really good writing pieces and resumes that are attractive. Getting them out there. So my next question was, do you guys use any tools for your hustle, like apps or anything, or a car? I don't know. It depends on the hustle. I'm just interested.
So my hustle, I guess, is kind of our side hustle. And so I know that you guys know what we use for this, but just in case other people don't know, basically as soon as we finish this recording session via Skype, I convert the video of the Skype call into audio files, and then I usually send half of the files to Sean, and I keep half of them, and we cut them up in GarageBand and Adobe Audition to cut out all the parts where we don't say anything useful. And then that all gets compiled back together. I use the final cut of the show to type up the show notes on our WordPress blog, and then everything gets exported and uploaded, which takes like a whole afternoon. And then we use the app Buffer to share that the new episode is out on social media. And then we start it all over the next week. So lots of smartphone time and laptop time and posting GIFs in Slack while files are exporting.
That's a heavy hustle.
It's just time consuming more than anything. Like there's a lot of exporting or a lot of like cutting out people's breathing in the podcast, which takes forever. And it's not hard. It just like it takes a lot of time.
No, I get that. I haven't had to edit a thing in a long time, so I'm not like trying to be nostalgic about it.
Understandable.
Because I know it's a pain in the genitals.
You say ass. It's not that.
We have a parental advisory sticker.
The
It's
ass
okay.
is not a genital, Tyler.
You
God.
hated the dick? Was that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, pain in the dick. It's a and or pain in the vagina. Pain in the just a genital.
Oh my god. Okay, somebody else talk.
What's going on? I use a website, and that's very important because it gives me metrics so I can see what people like in my website or don't like on my website. It's also so people can see my work. But I also use Instagram and Twitter to talk to people and also share my work because I don't know if you know this, but if you don't put things out there, no one will know that you exist. So you should probably do that. And I could be better at it, and I'm getting better as I get more confident in myself because I have to realize I'm not a complete shitlord and I'm only like 25, so I have room to grow. And it's okay to post stuff that you're going to hate in like a year.
It's true.
There you go.
I don't use a lot of apps to sell myself. Most of the Google stuff usually ends up being useful, but nothing too fancy. You know, my social media apps on my phone to keep me not bored. A lot of Snapchat gives me life, but other than that, I don't think I hustle myself through apps too well. Plus, I don't do Twitter, so it has never worked out for me.
Mistake. It's good stuff.
It is good stuff.
I know it's fucking, what is it? You know, when famous people are a tweet away, like it makes sense that it's a useful tool for just throwing out blurbs and picking up other people's, words, but I'm not great at it. I like being able to have a visual aspect, like my face, and that's why I love Snapchat.
It's fair.
What do you do?
I'm currently a tech assistant at Nationwide Arena, but I also just do freelance tech stuff around the area,
okay.
AV tech stuff.
Okay, well that's fine. You probably don't need that anyway.
No, like I'm not currently trying to sell myself in that aspect. It's just other little things where I end up selling myself for freelance stuff.
So technically, you don't even need, obviously, so you're freelance, so obviously you need to show yourself out there. But there's no technical visual element at all to your work. So it's interesting that you're I need people to match a name to a face.
Oh, well, I just like that. I'm just visual in general, and I like being personable. Well, it's also, I think, some of my strongest elements are my social aspect and, my when I'm in front of a person. But other than that, I don't know. I don't end up using apps to get into contact with people too hard.
That's interesting because all of our work is very, online networking based, but yours is still a lot more face-to-face.
It just shows that I'm a more better person. I don't know, just I'm better than all of you is what I picked up from that last sentence. So I think all is well.
Yeah, and fuck you too.
Yay!
Appreciate that.
Sean, I'm curious. What do you use to improve your hustle?
And I'm gonna take Luke's and even take it out further. That it really is face to face. It's really professional manners and going out and being places, looking nice.
Dressed nice.
That sounds like kind of a cop-out thing, or meeting friends and stuff and friends of friends. A lot of times too, I've had to work since I work in retail and I see a lot of people every day. If I have a really professional demeanor at work and I try really hard, it translates into the customers that I work with, because it's a pretty wide variety and range of people that do a bunch of different stuff. And I've had luck meeting people just by providing really good customer service. And people are generally friendly if you ask them a question, though. So that's what it is. It's not really so much advertising online or creating a personality. It's more so showing your skills and being ever ready. My third question is, does everyone need a hustle? You guys think everyone needs a hustle?
I think that's hard to answer because some people would not consider their job a hustle. It's just something that they do or something that they go to. And so I don't know. I guess maybe not everybody needs a hustle as long as they like have a job and have something that's like providing them an income. But there's a certain type of person, and I think we are all the type of person that needs some sort of hustle, like some sort of goal that they're actively working after to feel like they're accomplishing something.
Especially if you don't have a job in the field that you went to school for.
I don't.
You're like, well, I guess I should work towards that when I'm not trying not to die.
Trying not to die is also important, though.
That whole food and shelter thing really puts a damper on the finding your way thing. I don't mind it though. I feel like I'm the only person who doesn't mind doing more adult things, and like, not that I don't like mind it. It's just like every time someone's complaining about it, I'm just like, well, I get to do this now. It could be fun, and you know. But that's probably just me being, you know, from a very comfortable place that I can sort of stretch my legs, I guess.
Does hustle also roughly translate into also a hobby? Or is that the same thing, or is that not?
I think I should define hustle as like being somewhat monetarily oriented.
Okay. That would say no. I mean, I think the idea is that as long as you're doing something that like fulfills you in any way, like just going home and watching TV after work, and then just like not like chasing after anything, but and like only doing the things like at work, and then. But I mean, to be fair, if you love your job, and you like where you're at, and you just need time to like decompress, like I mean, if you're like climbing up that ladder, then fine, whatever, you're on top of it. But I mean, if you feel like you're not where you want to be, then of course you need something. I mean, of course, this is a topic for 20-somethings to talk about, because we're all like, oh, why can't we get these jobs? Oh, like if this is a conversation with like 30 or 40-year-old people, you're like, probably not. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Tyler brings up a good point. This is the prime time in our lives to have some sort of hustle. Whether your job is your hustle or a side thing is a hustle. Like, you're in your 20s, you don't have kids. This is the time to be devoting your hours to something.
I need to find a new hustle, if anything. I think the search for the hustle, the next great hustle, is what I'm up for right now.
I don't know. I feel like everybody does need one. Not so much like, I think it gives you a purpose. Maybe your job doesn't provide you with a particularly, like, I don't know. It's something that makes you go get a little bit. Even if it, like, I don't mind people, like, when I was saying, like, you know, maybe your hustle is, like liking TV, you know what I mean? And you're just really excited to watch television. Like, you don't have to necessarily, like, sell your love of television, but, like, it kind of drives you a little bit. So, I don't know. I kind of like that. I don't have to be so active about it, though, maybe.
What is it? I was just at an arts festival, and, like, there's probably two kinds of people selling art there. And they're like people from out of state who just go from festival to festival to festival selling all the art they have. And they're like, this is how I'm going to make my money. This is how I'm going to spread knowledge about me. And then there are like local artists from Columbus just with like one little stand, nothing too fancy. And they're just like, I do art and I like going here and showing it off in my community, and I can make some money, but that's not the point, you know, for them. So it's I guess there's like two ways to treat a hustle. Is one's aggressive hustling, but then if it's not aggressive, then it's not a hustle.
Right, it's not really a hustle.
Yeah, my roommate is a filmmaker, and he calls those people weekend warriors. They're people who make stuff on the weekend to get away from their normal job, but they're not like going for a job in the industry like he is. And it's just a different approach to the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, my last question is, if you guys had to name your hustle something.
I mean, I already did, so my answer's kind of boring. It's called Dudes Brunch. It's a multimedia empire, and by that I mean it's a side project that my friends work on Sunday nights, and also occasionally other nights.
I don't know what mine would be called, but it's gonna be something fucking cooler than TDR Design, because I'm fucking done with that name.
Well, that's what it's called now.
Ugh, I know. I hate it. It's so bad.
You should go down the DeviantArt route and just combine like shadow plus object plus your name spelled backwards XX design.
That's right. Nightmare of Souls. Right. I gotcha. I had that one waiting in the wings.
You did it. You're welcome. My hustle, I'm trying to think of like a stupid title that doesn't have too many dick jokes in it. So, oh my god, honestly, it's just gonna have to be like big dick, awesome guy, living life, hustle. Like something you would
This is
go
Rick and
into.
Morty or something?
You,
Hey Lucas,
go-
I know a guy that can solve all your branding issues. I could get you a
Really?
name, I could get you a logo and a business card, no problems. I'll solve
Perfect.
that wreck of a name that you've got there.
Yes. I want it to be like when you go into a bar and you go into the bathroom and you see like hashtag something something shuffle, but then replace shuffle with hustle. That's what I'm going for.
Hashtag the Lucas Hustle.
Yes,
All right,
yes.
Mr. Fister 69. All right, let's go. We'll start with the YouTube.
Boom. Work on the
Sean,
logo.
please
the real
redeem
one,
this
Twitter.
train wreck.
This is why I added this segment, because I knew that it was just going to totally go off the rails, and we needed this part.
You're welcome.
I don't know. I think my hustle is probably be called Sean Evans. It's probably just what it is.
Yeah, you and I had the most boring answer.
This is
Lucas, I hate to tell you, but Mr. Fister 69 is taking Twitter.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ah. No, wait, I'm okay, but like my handle on everything is Luka Daisical. I'm saying that's a good name. That's a mwah. It's got all the things that make Markiplier's name good. So it's good.
I love that our general reference for hustle names now is Twitter handles. Like, it took Sean 3 weeks to come up with a new Twitter handle when we told him his sucked.
Oh man.
Right? It's got to
You
be
gotta-
consistent. You got to
you
have.
gotta-
If you can't get an email, a Twitter, and a website all with the same thing, just forget it. Just abandon all hope because no one's gonna find you.
It's so true. At spam brand, come on.
Hashtag spam brand.
all right, I'm done.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks for running that one off the rails. I appreciate that.
Our second topic this week comes from Lucas. Lucas, what do you have for us?
All right, so about a week or two ago, I staffed at an anime convention for the first time. I've been going to anime conventions since I was like 12, and you watched anime a long time before that. Your Pokemon, your Dragon Ball Z, and all that stuff. But it was kind of weird because most of the people I've been working with had been staffing for like 4 years, and me just staffing now that I'm like out of college. It was like a weird perspective moment where I was like, I was doing, because I was a tech, so I was basically just doing what I normally do as a job, but at a convention. So it was like, it didn't feel 100% like a vacation time or like to hang out with people. I just had to like work. And then I got to like do the party stuff that I would do like in my college years. So basically, like, it's been an interesting perspective and how things change in like what you are a fan of and like what you really are into. And I'm just wondering, like, for you guys, if you're still like a fan of something from like back in your tween years, and you sort of you stuck with it, and you got to see it sort of progress or change. And how ultimately that made you like be for it, against it. Did you get kind of snooty about like, oh, it's not the way it used to be? And also, don't need to be specific, like just a fandom, like, oh, one band, but like with music, and like in the time that you've been into music, it's changed, or into film and it's changed, stuff like that.
Yeah, so we've talked about music a lot on here, and I don't just want to talk about Blink-182, because I feel like we had this exact discussion about them a couple weeks ago, but I've definitely had this discussion a lot recently about pop-punk bands, especially now that there's a new generation of pop-punk, and a lot of the bands that I was listening to as a middle school and high school student are starting to break up, or have already broken up. Looking at you, My Chemical Romance. But Motion City Soundtrack are doing a farewell tour this year.
That one hurts.
Yeah, there are a couple other bands that have just done farewell tours or are getting ready to, and so, I don't know. It's kind of a weird time for me musically that way, But I feel like a lot of those bands, the audience hasn't really changed. We've all just grown up with the band. And so now the band is ending and we get like a final moment. Fall Out Boy is really the only band where I feel like they were a thing when I liked them when I was very young, and now they're a totally different thing, and I don't understand the appeal of that thing whatsoever. And I know they've changed a lot, and I think they're probably just trying to play to the largest market to try and make lots of money, which is fine, but
The hustle.
I just don't understand present-day Fall Out Boy at all.
Anybody else, Sean or Tyler, you guys care about Fall Out Boy as much as Taylor?
Nah.
Obviously no for Sean, but Tyler, I don't know what music you listen to.
I feel specifically nostalgic about Sugar We're Going Down.
Right? It's the one...
Yeah.
But they're not that band anymore.
I know.
But for
really,
me, they never were. Like, that one song was so good, and then everything else, I don't know why it didn't click the same way that first one did. Tyler?
does that make it any less valuable? When you still hear it, are you still like, does it still take you back? Because if so, then that's still like, I feel like it's still important and still matters. But if it doesn't do anything for you, then it does for me.
Same.
Just like early Panic at the Disco.
Not the same.
Just that first album.
And they are literally not the same band, as in, there's nobody in that band anymore.
Right. I remember the first time I ever heard them on Attack of the Show, which is a show that was on G4.
Yeah, baby.
Which is a clearly long dead television network. But I would say that in the various like wars between like kind of like similar categories like of my childhood, I feel like I was on the wrong side of the fence. And in that case, I was Sega against Nintendo. I was Sonic versus Mario. I was Digimon versus Pokemon. You know, it was just like I was always on the losing side. But you know, I've always come to love and enjoy both sides. You know, but Sonic is obviously dead to me, and that hurts my soul because he was basically my first video game. I was playing it when I was like 5 years old, and to see that he's just this fucking like disaster of a shitty fucking franchise, I'm just like, ah.
Well, Mario's not doing so hot right now either.
Mario is doing just fine. He's not doing great, but at least he's not like this abominated corpse that's like just held up by like these poles that is like his face is ripped off and sewed back on with like a different face.
It's weird because Mario got a huge boost from the Mario Maker game that just came out. Well, like just came out like a year ago, but literally people are still doing like Let's Plays of that because, you know, everyone's making videos and making levels still and uploading it. So it is kind of like they're propping up a dead guy, but like it's not that he's dead, it's that it was animatronic to start with.
Sorry, that was Sonic is what I was referring to. It's Sonic.
Right, yeah.
But the difference is that Sonic doesn't even feel like it's trying right now.
Exactly, yeah. They just introduced like a commercial for the new Lego crossover mega fuck series that they've been doing. It's so weird.
Dimensions.
Yeah, because there's Doctor Who, Ghostbusters, Scooby-Doo, and then at the very end it shows like Doctor Who like coming out, and he's like, oh no, it's Gollum from Lord of the Rings, and he's going towards a ring, and then a Lego Sonic speeds by and takes the ring, and that's the end of the like trailer because they're like, we got Sonic. Everyone can get Sonic.
It'll be the best game with Sonic in it within the last like 5 years.
Whoa,
But
Smash Brothers Brawl had Sonic, and...
Don't you ever tell me that Super Smash Bros. Brawl was a good game. Don't you ever fucking say that to my face.
Tyler, you'll meet me in the pit. We'll deal with this offline.
Smash 4.
Is good.
Dance
I'm all
off.
about you. I would...
No, we're not doing a fucking dance off, Taylor. That was like 3 episodes ago.
Dance off.
Not doing that. Anyway. 4 or 2. Listen, we don't talk about Brawl. It was a big step for the game, but random tripping ruined the game, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm willing to accept that. So yeah, lots of things from my childhood I mostly still love, but I'm like forced not to love because they've either like abandoned me and become something completely different, or it's just the same shit. Oh my god. Pokemon's still doing well though.
Okay. Sean,
You're just jaded for the rest of your life, aren't you?
Yeah. Listen, I realized Pokemon just released a video where a Doberman Pinscher dog transforms into a literal Megazord. I realized that. I get it. I realized that was the thing that happened. But listen, the rest of them are pretty cute and very well designed. And I think Lucas is gone.
And I'm back.
He's back.
Sorry about that.
Fine.
Go ahead, Sean. You were going to talk.
Futurama.
Yeah.
I love that show. Yeah, no, I'm still a huge fan of that show. It's weird because I don't know if people still interact with it. Like, it's still on Netflix. Makes me think that people are watching it.
I'm pretty sure it's still like syndicated on Comedy Central.
Is it still?
I think
yeah,
so.
they still play it.
Yeah, like during the day.
Probably for like an hour a day too. I think like the 4 to 5 block is usually Futurama.
Packed full of it. But like, what has Futurama changed since you were like into it and such?
Yeah.
Because it's ended 3 times now.
Right. When it moved from Fox to Comedy Central, I think they switched out a lot of writers. So I feel like Fry got the shaft of the new seasons. He used to be kind of this like goofy go-getter guy. I mean, that's kind of what the show was about. It was mainly about like the adventures of Fry and Leela and Bender. But I feel like when it went to Comedy Central, they started exploring new plot lines with different characters. Like Zoidberg got more play, which is all right. Like he had his jokes and stuff like that. But I feel like I like the original, I should say, the first 5 seasons of Futurama way more than I like the season that is movies and the last 4 seasons that were made from Comedy Central. I pretty much don't watch those.
Well, let's see. Are you like just a fan of the show, or like are there like other people who are fans of the show that you can talk to Futurama about?
No.
Sean's not really like a fandom guy.
Well,
okay, so
happy
the other
life
day,
he must live.
when I was going on the there was DC had their comic book, or their con. I feel like that's a better way to describe it. Last weekend, and I did see a guy coming off the train with a Planet Express shirt, and I didn't say anything to him, but I did notice it, and I was like, it kind of made me pleased inside, knowing that there was somebody who is in love with that show enough to actually purchase a T-shirt with the Planet Express logo on it.
Aw.
So you have like passive-aggressive fandom.
Yeah, and there was a guy at the bar last night who had a Rick and Morty shirt on, and I kind of wanted to go talk to him, but I don't know.
Hey man, that's a nice shirt. We should like get drinks and maybe hang out. Wink.
I was just thinking of yelling "Wubba Lubba Dub Dub" and then sprinting out of the room.
That's fine. That sounds great. That sounds like the ideal.
I was going to say, I feel like that's the ideal Rick and Morty reaction.
Yeah. What is it? The con I was working this year actually had a bunch of Rick and Morty cosplay. Like a humanoid Mr. Poopy Butthole being the creepiest of them, I believe. But definitely that show is really cut through a variety of fandoms, and definitely I'm seeing a lot of it pop up everywhere, and I love it, and I need season 3 so bad. Let's see.
So
what else can I talk about?
Luke, what fandom has changed on you?
Probably, I mean, there's no one that doesn't change as it, like, progresses, but definitely, like, just talking about, like, anime, as, like, there's, like, for me, it was, like, the high school years of going to it, where I, like, liked panels and, like, was interested in, like, meeting new people. And then there was the college years where I just showed up, like, did nothing during the day, didn't go to panels, would just see old friends from, like, back in high school, and now that I could drink, get shit-faced with them. And it was, a fun time. And now I'm at the point where I've made the next step where it's more about making the event work than it is making, myself have a crazy awesome good time. Although there are the perks of like staffing where you get like a badge and a room and stuff, and like watching other people go through their like moments of that, like just watching the people in college get wasted, and then but also like the kids running around having a good time, or like the adults running around having a good time, like they never got out of that stage, or like that's how it's always been for them. And so it's always interesting to see something evolve from now, like the inside of like how the event goes and all stuff like that. And if there will be like a next step, walk around with a wizard staff and say things because I've been there a long time, I don't know.
wanted to ask you those questions because I wasn't sure.
Oh god, I forgot we were talking about fucking Dat Boi because Taylor likes to pull fucking memes out of the dumpster like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. He's like, hey
It's
guys,
still going strong.
Just wait till this thing's published. That thing's gonna be like ancient meme.
Well, on that note, I want to talk about Dat Boi this week. Oh shit.
Oh shit,
what up? So, everybody on the panel is familiar with Dat Boi because, according to Tyler, it's a dead meme. But if you aren't familiar with Dat Boi, let me explain it to you. Basically, it's a GIF of a frog on a unicycle from the 90s that people combined with some text from another GIF where you essentially write, "Here comes Dat Boi, frog GIF, oh shit, what up?" So I sent everybody an article explaining the origins of this meme and how it's based on an older meme of Pac-Man, and also that this GIF is from a company called the Animation Factory, which there's an excellent Reply All episode about we will link to in the show notes. And so, just to set a baseline of understanding, how familiar was everyone with Dat Boi and Animation Factory before we started doing this show?
Watched the episode, or I listened to the episode when it aired, so I already know. I was there.
Yeah, I listened to the episode.
I'm very comfortable with Dat Boi, but not with Animation Factory as a whole.
That's fair. So basically they just make really weird GIFs like this, or they made really weird GIFs like this. They don't exist anymore.
They got too big.
No,
the .com crash happened, but that's okay.
Oh well.
I think I already know how you feel about it, Tyler, but I'm curious, how does everyone, Tyler included, feel about Dat Boi?
Oh, it's fucking good. It's fucking hilarious. I'm just saying it's a fucking stale ass meme already, because when fucking like Totino's like is throwing it on their Twitter feed, I'm like, alright, well, I'm done with this one.
That's your index? As
Yeah,
soon as
but I mean-
Totino's tweets it, it's over?
Well, I mean, Fantano already gave it a pretty good review. He gave it a pretty fresh meme, so.
What is it? For me, a meme isn't dead until it shows up on Ellen. So ultimately, I love Ellen. Don't get me wrong, I love Ellen. But when something appears on Ellen, it's gone. It ends. It's like that's the pinnacle of memeitude or like internet like trend thing. But other than that, at the convention that I worked at, Dat Boi was very popular, very referenced, and occasionally cosplayed. Just a guy in a green morph suit with a frog hat on and probably carrying around a unicycle, getting like pictures and selfies taken with him just so people can be like, oh shit, it's Dat Boi. Oh shit, what up?
Sean, how do you feel about Dat Boi?
It's just a meme.
Jesus, Sean, just feel strongly about something.
You know I'm
Wait.
incapable of emotion.
Oh, when it comes to me, Sean, do you prefer Pepe the Frog or Dat Boi?
Pepe
Which
the frog.
you prefer Pepe the sad frog or the
Yes.
feels good frog?
Wait,
Of course Sean prefers the one that's infinitely sad.
you know the joke, right, Sean? Have you not been watching the meme reviews? No?
Enlighten our audience, Tyler.
Alright,
No,
so
I've been busy looking at maps.
Alright. That's right.
Oh!
In Anthony Fantano's like side channel, he's been doing meme reviews, and so every like all 3 episodes, he's had like he's
Well,
talking about
slow down, Tyler. I feel like I'm so behind now because
you are.
3
You're so-
Anthony Fantano episodes reviewing memes.
The meme fandom is strong.
But anyway, he's like in the middle of his reviews, he like makes like a reference to like Pepe, and then has like it pans to like Pepe sitting in a darkened room, and he's always like better than some of these other memes. So it's a sad Pepe.
So,
Oh my.
Dat Boi is kind of a combination of 2 existing memes. And I'm curious, do you guys think it's lazy or inventive and fresh to combine existing memes to make a new meme?
I've always enjoyed that because what is it? I remember back in the day when like reaction, like the Courage Wolf or some shit, like that kind of meme where it was the same picture, just different text, and there was like I don't know, I found like an entire 100-something image folder that was just splicing two together, like half of, like Happy Child and like Courage Wolf or like Murder Wolf, so it would just be like, go for a stroll, murder somebody, and it would just cut instantly to something else, and it just would be funnier because of how like, oh, I know these two memes, I can combine them in my head because I'm an idiot. Oh yeah, this is great, and it's funny. It's funny when you take two things that you get, and that's just that the way memes work is they evolve and they come from the people, and so ultimately it's just another form of communication by combining two things you know. Did I win? Did I win talking about memes like I care? God, this is where I'm at now. This is the end. I'm evolving in my meme fandom, and it needs to end. Memes need to die. To? That guy.
You heard it here first, everyone.
Tyler,
Dat Boi is over.
Combined memes or nah?
Very good. I appreciate remix. It's a good idea. That's right. That's it. I mean, what else is there to say?
The election's coming up. Of course I'm pro combined memes. I mean, come on, like, it's going to be a good time.
More real estate to make fun of candidates with?
Let the creative juices flow.
What's the most recent, like, political meme? I don't think I've heard one in a while. Oh no, I know what it is. It's literally, it's everybody being like, garbage or trash? Which do I have to choose one? Oh, like I see that everywhere from like people who, both sides of political, like, interest are both like just complaining about both candidates, and it's like, it's mildly, I get where they're coming from, but ultimately I'm just like, let it. Just get past the everyone complain about it stage so we can worry about it or fix it or something. I don't know.
I'm with you on that one. Those are kind of old.
I feel like this
Maybe
particular...
that should be my hustle.
Political memes?
Yeah, political memes. I feel like I could do like a whole thing on that.
Sounds like our next article.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
You're welcome, Sean.
Thank you, Luke.
No problem. I got Tyler work with my Dick 69 logo scheme. I've got you work with your dank meme reports. Taylor, I gotta somehow make this podcast better. Oh,
you were my last minute
am.
guest this week, yeah.
Ayo, I make everyone's life better. This is why it's so good to be me. Anyway.
So I don't feel like combining memes is typically lazy, but I'm starting to get a little bit worried about the state of memedom. It just feels like a lot of the memes that have come out recently have been either combinations of other memes or kind of like a punt of a meme. There hasn't been like one huge meme of 2016, and it seems like there usually is one really big one by summer. So,
well, I mean,
I don't know.
I thought Damn Daniel like held out, but then it got on Ellen.
Yeah, Damn Daniel was too easy to get rid of. Like, it didn't have the weirdness or the sticking power. I feel like Here Comes That Boy is just weird enough that it might not cross over into the mainstream media, but I'm honestly not sure.
Does Twitter count?
Brand Twitter does not count as mainstream media anymore.
Okay.
It's amongst the people.
It's amongst its own kind of weird, crazy bullshit, is what it is. People on the Twitters should follow @RGA. I'll put it in the show notes. It's an advertising agency, but they just let one of their employees run their corporate account. And one of the main things it does is like call out other companies that just tweet horrible, terrible meme shit. Also @BrandSayingBay, which is somebody who works in the ad industry. I don't know what exactly they do. They're anonymous, but they just tweet out the worst examples of brands using memes.
Oh.
My goal in life is to never get featured on @BrandSayingBay. But yeah, I feel like brand Twitter is its own thing. It doesn't count as the mainstream media.
Favorite example of brand tweeting gone right, Burger King and Wendy's just going at each other's throats over that like $4, 4 for $4, and then the 5 for $4, and they just kept like fighting over it. It was so good.
My favorite was Burger King tweeting about making a peace treaty with McDonald's over the Whopper versus Big Mac dispute.
That's
Hilarious.
so good.
But anyway.
Nihilist Arby's still is the king, but go on.
God, Nihilist Arby's so good. So, this meme, as Tyler alluded to, is pretty fresh. By the time this episode goes up, it's probably going to be getting pretty stale. I'm curious, what is the dankest meme in your life right now?
Probably something involving Hamilton and the Tonys, to be honest. Because I'm all about Hamilton just sweeping, and I watched the opening to the Tonys just before getting this going, so I feel like I'm up to date on the comedy and the jests, and Josh Corbin doing a pretty good job hosting. So Tony memes is what I'm trying to stay up to date on. Just a guy named Tony actually is who I'm trying to pay attention
just
to.
a Tony.
But, there's just Tony Tone, who did that song in Rick and Morty. I think it's called Feel Good.
So, as we record this, tomorrow is WWDC, Apple's annual developer conference, which means my Twitter feed is full of Apple memes right now. Lots of one more things, or customer satisfaction graphs. People are betting on what color shirt Eddie Q is going to wear. Lots of people saying U2 is going to make another awkward appearance. Like, just usual Apple nerd memes. I'm fully expecting there to be lots of, like, Apple Watch trash talk in the next 24 hours as well, so we'll just have to see.
It's a good thing I don't give a shit about Apple.
It's its own weird nerd culture, man. I don't know how I got into this.
You bought a phone. You bought a lifestyle.
I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Started buying into it, and then
blame
went down the
iPods.
spiral.
Those things were too good.
They were too good.
We weren't ready for them. We didn't deserve them.
Steve Jobs pushed time ahead too fast and just threw off the galactic time chart that Earth was on.
Tyler, Sean, any dank memes in your life right now?
This is gonna sound awful because I saw it on the news the other day. Like, not just the news, like the actual like local news. Hot Dog Princess.
Hot Dog Princess is pretty dank.
Wait, is there like not just the Adventure Time character?
No, not just the Adventure Time character. This was a little girl who they were told to come to dance class dressed up as princesses, and she came dressed as a hot dog.
It's so good.
Tyler just put in our Slack custom Lego figurines of the princesses from the Hot Dog Princess dance class photo, and it's the greatest thing ever. We'll put it in the show notes. What's your dank meme of the moment, Tyler?
I was at Catherine's birthday party with my family today, and my dad put on America's Funniest Home Videos, and I was like, well, I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life never having to watch that show ever again, but I didn't even know it was still on. The guy from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is hosting it now. I'm like,
Carlton, baby.
Yeah, I'm like that. I mean, I guess if you're happy.
I'm happy Carlton had like a comeback. That warmed my heart that happened in real life.
Do you have a dank meme for us, Tyler?
I think the one that I'm most excited about is something I almost wanted to talk about on the show, but I don't think I didn't end up doing it. But Overwatch is a video game that came out, and there's a character who's now been referred to as Dad, and then there's a female character that's Mom, and then there's a Korean pro gamer that's turned into like this super soldier who makes all sorts of like gaming references, and they've just turned her into a Dorito gremlin who just drinks Mountain Dew all the time, and so she's Bab, she's the baby. And so Catherine absolutely hates it, but I think I enjoy that they're like together as like a family. I enjoy that, and I just enjoy how much like fan art and just like interactivity that community is having with each other. So.
Our final topic this week comes from none other than Tyler. I don't know how to use a map. Read. Tyler, what do you have for us?
First of all, I'm okay with that being my nickname. If that's my new middle name, pretty good. Okay.
You see that brilliant strategy there where he owns it, so it's okay now.
Tyler, where's Oklahoma?
Oh, fuck. Oh, it's above Texas. That's right.
Pretty much every state, with the exception of 7 or 8, are above Texas.
It's directly above Texas, you fucking pebble. Jesus. Just because I don't know what the square states are, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I don't know them. Anyway, that was quite the derail panel. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I saw on my Facebook feed someone was going to their 10-year high school reunion. I was like, why?
Who was it? Who was it?
It's just some. It's a coworker. I barely.
Okay.
But I was like, I don't like TV and movies are always like, oh god, I hate going. I don't want to go to this, and it's like there's always this villain character that's gonna be there, and they have these scarred memories of their high school years and blah 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 whatever. So I want to see what you all thought about high school reunions. Do you plan on going to your 10-year reunion for high school? And if not for high school, what about college?
So, I thought this was rather topical because for the past 10 years, or the past 8 months, I've been invited to the 5-year anniversary, event, school reunion, and it just, there's a Facebook event where everybody's talking about it, working out, and we'll try and everybody will pitch in and we'll da-da-da-da. And there are still no plans that are concrete. Nobody was the second someone was well, maybe we could rent a hotel, and they were wait, that's money. I don't want to get involved with that. And it's not a bunch of my friends are the ones planning it or anything like that. So ultimately, if it gets finalized and there's a date and people invite me, I will go because I feel comfortable seeing those people again and getting really drunk and just having a time where I feel confident socially, to be around those kinds of people again. But ultimately, I'm just, I for all I know, I might go back there and instantly feel shitty. I don't know. I had not a terrible time in high school, so I feel like I'm in that rare category as someone who was just high school. That was a time. I wouldn't mind seeing a few of those people again. That'd be pleasant. But that's me though.
So very similar to Luke. This would be my 5-year, and I got added to a Facebook group for my high school graduating class with no warning, and then people started posting about, are we going to have a 5-year reunion? We should have a 5-year reunion. Who wants to organize this? And it's a lot of people who still live in the town where I went to high school, and they were super gung-ho about it. And then unfortunately, the guy who was taking the lead on planning it, his mom just passed away very suddenly. And so that's kind of put a kibosh on it, and nobody else is willing to take up the lead on running this thing now.
Do it, Taylor.
And so I'm hell no. I live 4 states away, and I really only want to see 3 or 4 people at this thing that I don't talk to still. I don't know. I don't feel that attached to anybody from high school that I don't still regularly talk to. So I don't feel the need to drive for 7 hours to spend one night with a bunch of people who, quite frankly, I barely even care about anymore.
I don't know. This is a weird topic for me. Because I'm coming up closer to my 10 than my 5. And I wonder what people are up to. I don't know. A lot of people I can name the people that I've talked to from my high school class on one hand. I've run into probably another handful out in public. But I don't know. I don't think it's something that I'm I don't have a good job. So I don't really want to go back to a high school reunion if I don't have something to talk about. And I don't know. I don't think I'm ready high school wasn't bad, but it wasn't necessarily pleasant. In terms of high school, if there was like a marching band reunion,
I definitely wouldn't go to that. I don't want
interested in that.
I would be interested, but I don't know that I would want to see those people ever again.
Yeah, I think you got to take that chance.
That is a big chance, man.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe there hasn't been enough time yet. But I think too, if I move back to where we went to high school, I would probably reach out to the people that I want to hang out with. So I don't know if a reunion would make that much of a difference.
I don't think there's anyone out of my like class that has really gone on to like do anything really big or important, so I wouldn't have to. I don't have to like really worry about like, oh man, I can't believe this person's so much better off now than they were. Like some people got married, some people had kids. I know like one person who does MMA now, and she's cool, but like I didn't know her as a person, so ultimately it's not like I have anyone to really compare to negatively or positively. But if it was band, I would care more, I feel like, because I was in that. Were we all in?
Yeah, we were all band kids.
Gross. Band is like anime to me. It's garbage. I love it, but it's garbage.
Rude.
Is there a fusion marching band reunion group out there somewhere?
Dear God, I hope not.
I bet there is. I bet I could look it up right now.
I bet I know who's leading that charge.
Find it.
It's going to be Tyler Reed.
No. Probably not high school. I feel like I moved around too much within different friend groups to really stay connected with anyone in particular. I'd be more inclined to do one for college, just because I feel like those are the people I probably, on average, probably had a stronger relationship with. I don't know. It's also a little bit fresher in my mind, too, so maybe that's why. I don't know. I feel like in high school, a lot of your friends are just kind of like, well, I sat next to you for a class. So, like, that means we're friends forever. So, I mean, at least that's been my experience. So I would say college, definitely. High school, not really. And so, do you think that social media has kind of made reunions kind of obsolete?
So I was thinking about this recently. I went to Nashville with a couple of Sean and Lukas and I's friends from Athens, and that kind of felt like a mini reunion in a way of like, we're all taking this trip together because we haven't seen each other in a year or so. And that felt a lot more like fresh than just interacting with those guys on social media. But I still talk to them like at least once a week online, so I don't think it diminishes the need for reunions. I just expect to do more small reunions with friend groups than like big class-wide reunions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, agreed. Especially because I'm still in Ohio, like Athens is right there for me. And, you know, if people haven't left, they're around the state, so I can just take a weekend and buzz around and see people. Mm-hmm. So it's like, social media just makes planning things a little easier. And for the people I don't plan on seeing, but I'm still friends on Facebook with, it's just, you know, it's not that I don't ever want to see them again. It's just I don't want to try to see them ever again, I guess.
Yeah, you don't want to fly out to LA to visit them.
Yes, exactly. I would never go as far as LA.
But you're like, oh, I'm at Jungle Gyms. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, exactly. I catch up with people occasionally, like see someone I haven't seen in a while, point at them like in our cars and be like, oh shit, it's that guy. And then you drive away and you're just like, oh, I saw that guy. He's not dead. That's nice.
I think I'd be much more interested in having a reunion with my graduate school class than any other class that I've had, because there was literally like 12 of us, and we all worked in the same office, and we all pretty much took the same courses together. We were all pretty close, and now we all, well, not all of us live too far apart from each other. Pretty much everybody lives still in Ohio or in D.C., with the exception of Mary, who lives in Papua New Guinea. But no, I mean, I think I would be more interested in that, is because like that was a really hard time, and we all like went through the same thing, and we are, like, everybody was invested in everybody else's personal success. There wasn't a way that you really couldn't be, to be honest. So, I don't know. That'd be nice. I'd like to do that again.
High school was like a way bigger ship where it's sinking and everyone has to, fend for themselves. But when it's like a tiny boat that's sinking, everybody can sort of take up roles and it makes sense, and you associate and care about everybody on the ship. Because if you don't, you die.
Right. I did run into a undergraduate classmate at work today.
How was that?
It was cool. I knew she lived in the area, but I haven't seen her. So when she came in, probably last time I talked to her was 3 years ago. I didn't have a beard back then, so I wasn't sure if she was going to recognize me. But after talking to her, she was like, "Yeah, I was going to get on Facebook and say that there was some guy who was in Arlington that looks just like you."
Yeah, you had this crazy beard.
I was going to say, yeah, because that guy is me.
He seems so post-cool.
Once you say it, it's not post-cool anymore.
Thank God.
Way to ruin it.
Thank God.
That's what I'm doing my next week's segment. Oh, that's right, we can't because next week is...
Audience choice.
Yep.
Speaking of that,
snap.
oh wait, never mind. I was like, please send in your questions, but
Yeah, this is it. Today is the deadline.
Oh no.
Tyler, do you have another question?
I mean, should we all like kind of have like an email forgiveness day, except for like email, like Facebook message our former classmates that we still kind of would enjoy hanging out with?
I'd like that.
I actually kind of have that. It's usually like either when somebody has a really good group picture show up as their Facebook on this day, or if something significant happens in somebody's life. So like a bunch of my high school teachers have been retiring, and so it's been fun for everybody to like go back and tell old stories on Facebook as like letters to those teachers as they retire, thanking them for what they did for us. Or a couple of my high school friends just got married, so yeah, I mean, those sort of events are kind of like Email Debt Forgiveness Day in that way, of like people come out of the woodwork on you.
Do teachers go to reunions?
Sometimes.
I don't know. I guess so.
I don't know if it was like, oh, I worked, 10 years ago, I'll visit now. It's like the people you don't. Maybe I think it would have to be like maybe that teacher retired that year with all the seniors, and so like they associate with those seniors. But other than that, I don't know. Or someone's like, let's invite the band director,
right? If you invited,
and let's just get them liquored up, and it'll be hilarious. But other than that,
does anyone have any idea? Like, what would you even do at a reunion? Do you just like stand around and just like talk to people? Is that
yes.
it?
Yeah.
Is it just like a really shitty party?
No, it's not. I mean, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be bad.
It can be like a high school dance all over again, or at least that's what movies have taught me it would be like.
Like okay, so once they get West Claremont Super High School done, there is probably going to be a huge class reunion from both schools, because everyone's going to want to come back home and see the new school and reflect on the good old days when they were their own schools, and it's probably going to be a huge thing. Will it draw the classes between 2005 and 2015, 16? Probably not so much. But if you went to school in the 80s or in the 90s or something, you're probably kind of interested, It's been a while for you. This is a good occasion for you to catch up. So,
yeah, they tore down the elementary school that I went to a few years back, and it was built in like the late 40s, so it still had like an atomic bomb shelter in the bottom of it and everything. Like it needed to go.
Oh my god.
It was a similar thing where people came back for that, and they like wanted to get bricks from the building, and anybody who had ever gone to school there was able to take home a brick. There's one at my parents' house somewhere for me. But yeah, I think Sean's right. Like, those sorts of occasions are a great way to do a reunion as well, so it's not just like a lame dance party or whatever.
right.
Yeah. For my elementary school, it was crazy because the school's still there, but like for some reason we got to like go inside and like like, it kind of had been, like, trashed and used as storage almost, but, like, I was going to places I hadn't been in years to, like, just because they had left the doors open, I think, so people could use the restroom or something, and so I just, like, kind of snuck around to a bunch of all these rooms, and, like, places I couldn't go as a kid, like, above the, like, stage, like, where, you know, like, they would do, like, you know, musical events or whatever, and I was just looking at all this old stuff and going to, like, rooms and being like, oh, I remember this. There's graffiti here. I didn't do that graffiti. It doesn't associate with me at all. But there's a mannequin in this room. Let's play with the mannequin. And then just shenanigans out the ass.
I think, too, thinking about, like, how the distance would be, I'd be more interested in a 20-year reunion, too, because I think everybody might be in a similar situation in 20 years rather than 10. Like, you're probably more likely to be married at your 20-year reunion. You're probably more likely to have children at your 20-year reunion. So it kind of gives you a little bit better of an expectation of what to plan for. Because I know there are lots of classmates of mine that have gotten married and or have had children. But a lot of them I don't think have. So, and like trying to create an event that accommodates all of these things, definitely be a lot more logistically challenging than saying, like, you know, because I'm sure a lot of people would say, like, let's have a big party or do something, you know, it kind of turns some people off, like, well, I have kids, you know, I just can't do this stuff. Whereas in 10 years, probably a little bit more family-oriented, a little bit more family-friendly kind of events would be happening.
Yeah, and I think on a similar note, for Luke and I, the 5-year reunion is kind of like, well, great, you went to college. And if you didn't go to college, like, you worked. Mm-hmm. We haven't really done that much. Like, there isn't enough distance. And so there's going to be people who have finished college and are working, people who have finished college and are looking for jobs, or people who are working.
Nobody's gotten famous. Nobody's...
Yeah, like,
you know...
There's nothing to talk about. Everybody's looking for a different thing out of the event. It's just...
I went to a wedding... I was in a wedding for one of my friends, and that's, like, probably the most exciting thing. And she's, like, a grade younger than me, so it doesn't even matter. Like, she wouldn't be there, so it's just, like, there's only so many things that can happen, and I can just invite the people I want to see again to, like, my house. That's probably what I'm going to do for, like, my birthday, is just invite a bunch of people over per usual. And get creative with it.
I mean, at this point, it really does just sound a lot better just to be like, hey, some people that I know, why don't we just go hang out? You know, like, I don't know.
We're all over 21 now. Let's go to a bar.
Right.
But then you have to decide which bar you want to go to, or do you want to make it a big deal, or do you just... That almost even sounds too complicated, as trying to get everyone... Like, you have to just say, hey, meet here or don't, and then have it happen. Mm-hmm. No serious planning goes into it at this point, because it's just... we see each other enough through social media, even if we don't talk.
I could still see some people being quite jaded about the whole process 10 years into it.
Mm-hmm. I know for sure I am. I mean, like... I'm like, if I'm still, like, just a dumpster diver, basically, I'm like, I'm not going to my 10-year reunion. I'm not doing that shit. Like, I'll go when I've done something with my life.
Yeah, I mean, it's what the circle you'll want to see, like, of your friends are you doing, or like, and maybe you can interact with the ones who also aren't doing things with their lives, and then you can be like, hey, let's maybe collab on something. Get some crazy collabos going.
That is true. That is also a good idea.
So, because, like, what if one of those kids who was in art class with you now actually has some bomb ass stuff but knows nothing about social media or the world outside? You can be their shining light and give them an awesome name like Lucas.
All right, Tyler, I've got a wrap up question. If you don't,
yeah, go ahead.
So we're coming up on our 6th season finale here at Dude's Brunch, and we've had probably 20-ish people on the show so far. And so my wrap-up question for this topic is, what would we do at a Dude's Brunch reunion if we could get everybody who's been involved in this show together for a night. Or for a brunch.
Brunch.
I think that sounds really good. We have to get a really big table. Like a really
Sean?
big table.
And so much coffee.
Oh, yes.
We'd have to cold brew the coffee for days.
See, for me though, I just do brunch with you guys. Like, why do I'm up to date in all of your lives. I don't need to see you guys ever again for like a good 5 years at least. But 5 years later, we'll have our Dude Brunch reunion, and it'll be fine. You guys will have done like 600 episodes.
Would people even show up to a Dude's Brunch reunion if we held one?
Well, they're technically all the people that we pretty much know personally, so I certainly would hope so to some extent.
It'd be an excuse to have a party, a shindig, a good time, so I would show up.
What do you think, Sean? What should we do at the Dude's Brunch reunion?
I kind of want it to be at night, but I also want to have a food truck. This is a reoccurring theme of my life. I just want to have a food truck to every single event that I go to ever.
So here in Atlanta, there's the Waffle House in a truck.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Very good.
It's amazing. We could totally have the Waffle House in a truck cater our Dude's Brunch reunion.
And I want it to be outside.
Oh, well, obviously.
Preferably with a bonfire.
Aw.
Like a 9 a.m. bonfire while we eat waffles?
No, it's not. No, it's not in the morning, Taylor.
He wants it at night.
You want it at night?
Is it? No, that fits the premise of the show.
Right.
The late night morning talk show, that's true.
Right.
Well, there you have it, folks. Mark your calendars for February 29th, 2017. We'll have our Dude's Brunch Bonfire Breakfast reunion.
Awesome. Sounds yummy.
I'll bring the Geta.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wrap the show up like we always do with a round of shameless plugs. We will start this week with Tyler. Tyler, what would you like the people to do?
All right, everybody, you can find my work at tylerdreed.com. You can find me on social media as TDR Design on Instagram and Twitter. Nothing new to report. Been uploading stuff to my new website. Other than that, just moving forward. Come see me at the Rook if you're in Cincinnati. I guess that's it.
Sean, any shameless plugs from you?
Check me out on Twitter. It's at sevans8910. You can also check me out on Pinterest. For some reason, I'm picking up on there. I repinned something on my things to wear board, and it's just going crazy. Everyone's reposting this thing. It's just green chinos. It's not like that exciting, but people are loving it. So check it out. Tell me if it's worth repinning.
Beautiful.
Luke, thanks for coming on the show. What would you like the people to do?
All right. You can follow me on just about all social media platforms under Luka Daisical. That's Luka Daisical. So that's just the handle that works for me and is just about everywhere.
Particularly on
also,
Snapchat, by the way.
Yes, I'm a big Snapchatter. I just got a video of a small baby deer randomly running through my yard today, so it was a lot of fun in that. Also, the convention that I mentioned that I worked for is Colossal Con. They're a bomb-ass convention that does stuff at the Kalahari Water Park and Resort up in Columbus, like once a year. It's really nice. You go, you do some nerdy stuff, and then there's a water park that has a hot tub bar. A hot tub with a bar attached to it. And it's so good, but I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to drink and be in a hot tub at the same time, like legally. So I don't know how they get away with it, but it's amazing. And check it out. They also do one. They're doing another one called like Colossal Con East. Sounds pretty cool. It's going to have the biggest water park in, what is it, the Northern Hemisphere, Western Hemisphere, something. It's fucking going to be big. So check it out. Colossal Con.
Jesus.
Good stuff. Plugged by Lucas. The best.
Well, you can follow me on Twitter at TC Olmstead. You can follow the show on Facebook, on Twitter, or like the show on Facebook at Dudes Brunch. And if you really like us, you can leave us a review on iTunes. Next week is our audience choice episode. We'll have our biggest panel ever with myself, Tyler, Sean, Janet Ford, and Emily Bamforth talking about topics you suggested. But if you're listening to this, it's already too late to suggest topics. I'm sorry. Other than that, thanks a lot, everybody, and we'll see you next week for more brunch.
Dude, bears. Think bears, though.
Wow. All right.
They're like dog horses.